Alright, what's up guys? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Let's talk about some big Nintendo Switch 2 games that we should be seeing on the system potentially at the next Nintendo Direct. Stuff that's been rumored before, but we're getting more and more bits of information that we could be getting something soon. And of course, a big update on a game that I'm very excited for, an action RPG that I knew that would come to the Nintendo Switch 2 and got announced at the last Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. So let's go ahead and jump into the first game here. A lot of you guys are excited and hyped about Monster Hunter Wilds, the potential of that coming over. Also, there could be a brand new Monster Hunter game. That has always been something that maybe Capcom is working on, built specifically for the Nintendo Switch 2, like we got with Monster Hunter Rise. But for right now, there's been a lot of evidence and rumors that there's going to be Monster Hunter Wilds on the Nintendo Switch 2. That is the game that came out last year on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC, to some great reviews, but then also a lot of issues, and they've been trying to patch it and make it better since then. Now, here's the situation that's coming up, why I think that we could be getting a Switch 2 port announced sometime soon this year, is because on the official Japanese Twitter page, and I think they probably put it up in English, but on the Japanese Twitter page, they said this for Monster Hunter Wilds. Announcement regarding the future. We are currently developing large-scale expansion content for Monster Hunter Wilds as well. We are making preparations so that we can share official information around the summer. So please stay tuned for further updates. Now, the summer coming up here, that is very interesting because we know that Nintendo is going to probably have another Nintendo Direct within the next couple months or so, the big Nintendo Direct, where they outline a lot of the games they're going to be coming out in the summer and the fall. And one big third-party game that has already gotten quite a bit of leaks, like with the source code where it literally said Nintendo Switch 2 and it scaled things back to where it could run a bit better when it comes down to that, we already got that leaked out there. So I do think that summer, this lines up, Nintendo Direct, you announce it, big announcement for Japan as well, because this game didn't do as well as Capcom would have liked for a number of reasons, but one of those reasons is the dynamic scale between Monster Hunter World and what people were playing when it came to PlayStation versus the Nintendo Switch 1 compared to the dynamics right now in Japan, where the Nintendo Switch 2 has completely taken over for the most part. Still have legacy Switch 1 users out there, but Switch 2 is vastly approaching them. A lot of Japanese gamers that would like to play a game like Monster Hunter Wilds probably won't buy it if it's PlayStation 5, to the point to where the Capcom guy for Monster Hunter actually complained and said that it's too expensive, and that was one of the reasons why Sony decided to put out a Japanese language model only to reduce the price of it, because Japan had been hit with multiple price increases of the PlayStation 5. Now, that necessarily didn't do too much in Japan. It's not selling great, but at the same time, it was something. But I do think that with the Nintendo Switch 2 and how well that it's doing, they absolutely want to get Monster Hunter Wilds, in addition to probably a game built specifically for the Nintendo Switch 2 when it comes to Monster Hunter on the platform within the next number of years. So I would expect both of them, but I do think that we could see an announcement for Monster Hunter Wilds on the Nintendo Switch 2 at the upcoming Direct, with this new expansion and all that kind of put together all into one. I think that would create a very compelling package for the Nintendo Switch 2, once again, especially in Japan. I do think that it would be popular in other places as well. I think that Monster Hunter just kind of naturally lends itself to a hybrid nature type of platform, to where maybe if you're playing online, you can play at home on the TV and have everything all set up and hardwired in. But then if you're playing by yourself, or if you're out on the go, you can do some hunts and do some grinding on the go there. So I do think that it really fits the, I would say, spirit of what a hybrid system could be, and I think it would fit well on the Nintendo Switch 2, because those games with Monster Hunter did so well on the Nintendo 3DS back in the day. And of course, Monster Hunter Rise was awesome on the Nintendo Switch 1. It sold incredibly well, over 10 million units plus just on the Nintendo Switch 1 system itself. So I do think that Capcom wants to bring over Monster Hunter Wilds, and maybe we get something at this next upcoming Nintendo Direct that we're going to have at some point, and of course a summer launch on all platforms. So we'll see what happens there. But what do you guys think? when it comes to Monster Hunter Wilds and what's going on, let me know in the comment section below. But before we move on to the next topic, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, because we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 150,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button, click that like button, hit that notification bell, and drop a comment below on what big third-party games you would like to see on the Nintendo Switch 2. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right back into it. Let's talk about what's happening with Stellar Blade 1 and by extension Stellar Blade 2. It does seem like ShiftUp has reiterated that they want to bring Stellar Blade over to other platforms, so people are saying, okay, well, here comes Xbox and potentially even Nintendo Switch 2. Now, in a recent statement, they had this to say about Stellar Blade. We are reviewing platform expansion beyond PlayStation 5 and PC to broaden audience reach. This approach is expected to both introduce the title to new players and gradually build anticipation for the next chapter in the series. We expect 2026 to be a year in which more users experience the existing title while momentum and anticipation builds towards the next phase of the Stellar Blade franchise. So what's going on here is that they've also dropped some hints and pretty much already said, yes, Stellar Blade 2 is in production. We're going to reveal it, but they want to do it the right way. They want to build more anticipation and hype and get more people into it, because while the reach was good on PlayStation 5 and on PC, it sold multiple millions of copies. Having it on the Nintendo Switch 2 and on Xbox will open it up to probably millions more in sales between the both of them. And if Sony's not going to be footing the bill for this next one, there's no point in only keeping it to PlayStation 5 and to PC. So I do expect them to put it out, I would say, on Xbox Series at the very minimum, but I am thinking that it's going to come to Nintendo Switch 2 and the Xbox Series platform. And the reason why is because ShiftUp purchased Nintendo Switch 2s for everyone in the office for a holiday party back in the launch year. So I do think they want people to get familiar with the system. I do think they probably have dev kits at this point, and a game like Stellar Blade, a very good reviewed game, solid action adventure game, a lot of appeal when it comes to the character Eve and just like what people like. So I do feel that Stellar Blade would be a good addition to the Nintendo Switch 2 and to Xbox. But I do think that when you're talking about the Japanese sales, when you're talking about Asian sales, and of course, depending on what you're looking at here in the US and what people are wanting to play, I think that Stellar Blade can be a great seller on the Nintendo Switch 2, as we're seeing other big action RPGs or action-oriented games come over to Nintendo Switch 2 and do well. Ubisoft just said that one of the big reasons why that Assassin's Creed Shadows overperformed was because of the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. We have Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate that was topping the eShop charts for a bit and still at the top of the physical charts for Amazon, and it's still in the top 20 when it comes to the eShop charts here in the West, and in Japan it's in the top 20 as well for eShop. So I do think that there is a new audience. There's multiple millions of people that you can reach out there with this type of game, and it makes sense to build anticipation and hype coming up for Stellar Blade 2, especially if it's going to be a multi-platform release. I think it's a good idea. They're obviously going to invest a lot more money into this one, but they've got the groundwork when it comes to tech and everything built out, the characters. They just need to put together the sequel, which they've probably been working a lot on. Now, if you look at it though, Stellar Blade came out at the beginning or so of 2024. It's 2026, so I don't expect Stellar Blade 2 to be ready this year. It's probably going to be a 2027 title. I don't know if it's going to go 2 years out from the announcement, so maybe 2028, but I'm guessing that it's going to be a 2027 title, and they're going to reuse a lot of assets and of course improve the graphics and improve things, but reuse a lot and build a new story around that, build new combat mechanics and everything. So I'm expecting it to be done pretty efficiently when it comes to what they're doing there, just based on how the development, how they're ramping up things for a reveal of Stellar Blade 2. So I'm definitely expecting there to be a Nintendo Switch 2 version of this game. Like I said, at the bare minimum, an Xbox Series version for platform expansion, but it does seem like they're talking about multiple platforms, not just one platform. And once again, if you're looking at the Asian sales of the Xbox Series, not necessarily great. Nintendo Switch 2 is definitely selling at a faster clip in different Asian territories, and of course pretty much worldwide, Switch 2 is selling at a faster clip. It's probably going to overtake the Xbox Series within the next year here or so. So I do think that they're going to want to put that on the Nintendo Switch 2. It just makes a lot of sense, especially if you're trying to reach out to some of those Bayonetta fans that are out there that played Bayonetta on the Nintendo Switch 1. So what do you guys think about Stellar Blade and Stellar Blade 2 potentially making its way over to the Nintendo Switch 2 based off of what ShiftUp had to say recently here? let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, let's talk about Granblue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok. This was one of the more underrated announcements of the recent Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. I know not everybody is into the anime style action RPG. I think a lot of people think that maybe this is a gacha game or something like that, but it's not. I want to give you guys the lowdown on Granblue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok. I think this is one of the better action RPGs out there. I like it more than Tales of Arise. I like it more than a lot of action RPGs out there. I think it's really good, and I think that once again, people kind of look at the Granblue franchise on mobile and say, oh, well, it's just kind of like a Genshin Impact or something, but it's not. It's actually a lot more like a traditional action RPG with a ton of different things that you can do. But with this new, I would say, update to it with Granblue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok, they're adding a bunch of great stuff here. So here's what you get in the base package of the game now. You get over 160 quests. You get brand new single player story content to explore and to play. You get brand new playable characters as well. One of the big things in Granblue is a lot of different characters that have different properties and weapons and abilities, and you can mix and match those and pick between what you want in order to be as efficient as you can on really brutal quests as well. Now you also have brand new bosses, so you're going to be able to use all of those new skills and new abilities and new different content they have in there to take down new bosses. And here's a cool thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 version. You've got local multiplayer. That's the Switch 2 only, so they're doing local multiplayer. So if you have a friend you want to play with, I think that local multiplayer is underrated when it comes to games supporting that, just because it just gives someone a chance to be able to play something, test it out with a buddy right there, growing up like back in the day playing local co-op. So I like that. That's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive for the local multiplayer. But here's another thing though. If you already have a friend that has it on PC or has it on PlayStation 4 or PS5, you're going to be able to have cross-play amongst everyone. Now the game's not coming to Xbox, which is unfortunate. It would be nice if they brought it over there, but I think they just don't care. But when it comes to PS4, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2, you've got crossplay. So if somebody already has the game, that opens up millions of more potential gamers to have access to the game and to be able to play with people when it comes to this. And you're going to need it. If you want to beat some of the biggest bosses here, you're going to need that. So this game has full scale online multiplayer, questing with friends. It has a full single player campaign where you don't need to do a single thing online. You can play this all offline, have tons of content, put hours and hours into it, and it's got a decent story. It's got good graphics. It's got great gameplay. It's a fun title, and I think that it really plays well. When I played it on the PC first, I thought it was great, and then it came out on PS5 as well. I picked up the PS5 version later, and I put more time into the PS5 version, but I stopped playing because I wanted to be able to play portable, and the PS Portal is just not for me. I tried it, and it's just not something for me. So I said, you know what? This game is probably going to come over to the Nintendo Switch 2 at some point, so I'll just wait. I'll just buy it again now for the third time because I want to be able to have that portable play. And thankfully I did, because they're adding a bunch of cool stuff here, and it's coming out this summer. It's actually launching right next to Digimon Story Time Stranger, the Switch 2 version, July 9th for Granblue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok. So we're gonna have a lot of great big summer titles, big expansive RPGs and things to get into on the Nintendo Switch and multiple platforms. But this gets me super excited about the possibilities and potential. A lot of people were kind of downplaying this announcement, maybe just because they don't know what Granblue is, but man, I'm telling you, do not sleep on this franchise. Do not sleep on this game. Now, maybe you can sleep on the mobile games because that has a whole different atmosphere, a whole different fan base. It's a gacha. Like, I get that, but this is not that. This is a full-scale single player and multiplayer, just like we used to get it back in the day. Full co-op when it comes to that. A bunch of different characters, new weapons, new gear, new characters, new everything with this. So it's actually an enhanced version of the original Granblue Fantasy Relink. So very cool there. This game also used to be developed by Platinum Games before it moved over to internally at Cygames, and you can kind of feel the remnants of what they did. There's dodge offsetting with some of the action combos in there, to where you can start up a combo, you can hold down the button, dodge, and then finish off that combo that you did. So you can see see some of the remnants of the Platinum Games touch, the Bayonetta or DMC type of touch. Now, obviously, it doesn't play exactly like those games, but there's some things in there that's uniquely, I would say, Platinum Games that's still in there. So I really do enjoy the action RPG combat in this game. It's very good. So I think players should look out for this one July 9th. I know it's coming right next to Digimon, and that's going to be a big game on the Nintendo Switch 2 as well, but there's just a lot of options for people to be able to play. So what do you guys think about all the different stuff that we talked about here, man? A lot of good stuff coming up from Monster Hunter, potentially Stellar Blade, and of course, Granblue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok on the Switch 2. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.